What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're getting into a camera comparison between the OnePlus 8T and the Google Pixel 5. Both super hyped Android phones for 2020. We're going to get into night shots, we're going to get into regular shots, talk about the cameras between these two, and well, let's get into it. So we're on the backside on the Google Pixel 5. We have dual cameras happening here. The first one is a 12.2 megapixel dual pixel camera. We got autofocus, optical image stabilization, the works, and then we have our ultra wide camera, which is 16 megapixels. Now over here on the OnePlus 8T, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you can see there's like a huge camera array here. So let me break it down for you. The main sensor here is 48 megapixels, and we do have our ultra wide camera at 16 megapixels, and we also do have a 5 megapixel macro lens and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Now, what we're doing here for comparative purposes, we are comparing both the 12 megapixel modes on these cameras because it is not out of the box by default how you're shooting. You actually have to actively select 48 megapixels here. I can't even talk. But other than that, let's get into this comparison. We're gonna start out with daylight photos. All right, so checking out the daylight photos here, I mean, I think the OnePlus 8T definitely has a sharper image. It's doing that post-processing, obviously, but you can see that it's got a sharper image and it's got slightly more bokeh in the background, and that's just due to the sensor being bigger. I mean, it's a 48 megapixel sensor, and we're squishing down 12 megapixel photos out of here. I think that it's sharper, definitely, but that's more of a personal preference, well, because you can always sharpen a photo after you've taken it, so that's not really a problem here. But I think they both look great. In good lighting, you shouldn't have a problem with either of these two cameras. I mean, the results speak for themselves, and be sure to check out the gallery linked below in case you want to see closer images for yourself. All right, so be sure to let me know what you thought about those photos down in the comment section below. But next up, we are checking out indoor shots just around the office here, just stuff I have sitting around, you know, regular lighting inside, how your photo's gonna look. Let's jump into that. So once we get into the indoor or like dim lit photos here, you can tell the sharpness is still happening here on the OnePlus 8T, but the white balance starts to struggle a little bit the lower the lighting gets, and I noticed that in several different places as I was taking these photos. So OnePlus is pretty much a hit on most of them, but I did notice, yeah, like I said, the white balance just tends to struggle a little bit to accurately portray the lighting in the scene, at least in my opinion, and a little bit of exposure things happening here and there. Now coming up next, we have a low light comparison between these two. Obviously we're talking about kind of the night shot kind of things where it does some enhancements to make the photos look better. Let's see how these two fare, and drop your comments down below about what you think. All right, so I hate to break it to you, but the OnePlus 8T was annihilated by the Pixel 5 in the night mode shots. The white balance is just terrible in most situations. It tends to run very warm, whereas the Pixel 5 really portrays what the scene actually looked like to my eyes personally. So night mode, I mean, even with these light flares here, the Pixel 5 managed the lights a lot better, and the white balance, as you can see, is drastically different. I just think that the Pixel 5 overall for night mode shots, it definitely takes the cake here. Now, obviously, you know, smartphones these days are getting so much better. Like, it's just much easier to have a good camera on a smartphone in 2020 than it was in 2010. What a difference a decade makes, right? But I do think that there are some areas here where each of them excel. I mean, I definitely think HDR is pretty awesome on the Pixel 5, and just the image processing that it does to make the photos look better, in my opinion. OnePlus, I think just snapping your photo and having it without touching anything, it's pretty sharp, and I've noticed that be the case with previous OnePlus phones. I personally like the sharpness that it brings to the table. That's a subjective thing, really, but I think they both add something. Now, if I was gonna just pick one daily driver for camera shots all the time, I would definitely have to go with the Pixel 5, only because it's always kind of been on top of the game as far as smartphone cameras are concerned. Google Pixel 5, the Google Pixel lineup in general, just does it every single time. Zero problems for the most part, in my opinion. But let me know your opinion and drop it down in the comments section below. There's bound to be a debate of some sort down there, so keep it civil, you guys. But I think that both of these phones right here, I mean, They're pretty awesome, and considering where they're coming in at price point wise and the availability, I think that you can't go wrong with either of these. They're both a great phone to pull out of your pocket and snap photos with. If you want to get into more of the manual modes or things like that, that could be a whole different story, but we're just talking about, hey, let's take the phone out, take a picture, see how it looks. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos like this drop in the future. I really appreciate all the support, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. This is Dom, and I will catch you in the next video.